All right, we're back and ready to deep dive into something pretty cool today.
Yeah, definitely.
We're tackling a set of 30 words from the Oxford 5000. You know, that super important list of English words.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Everyone wants to master those.
And get this, all these words are connected by the prefix out. So it's like a vocabulary power-up, a grammar lesson, all in one go.
Exactly. You'll pick up these words and start to get a feel for how prefixes can really change the meaning of a word in English. You know what I mean?
Totally. Like little building blocks for bigger words. Okay, so first up we have orchestra. I mean, everyone's heard of an orchestra, right? It's those like big groups of musicians all playing together.
Yeah, the classic image of a symphony orchestra on a big stage.
Exactly. So how would you use it in a sentence?
Well, you could say something simple like, the orchestra played beautifully.
Makes sense?
Or maybe she dreamed of playing the violin in a famous orchestra.
Oh, I love that one. Aspirational, you know?
Yeah, totally. And even though it's a big group, you can still talk about the sound of the orchestra as if it's one unit.
Right? Like it has its own unique sound. Okay, next up is organic. For me, this always makes me picture those like brown paper bags of fruit and veggies at the store.
I get it. But organic actually has a much wider meaning. It refers to anything that comes from or relates to living things. So you could say the farm uses organic methods to grow vegetables.
Right, like no pesticides or anything.
Exactly. Or this shampoo is made with organic ingredients.
So it's like natural.
Yeah, it's all about natural processes and substances. And you can even use it in a more abstract way, like the growth of the company was organic, driven by customer demand.
Oh, I see. So it's like natural growth, not forced.
Exactly. It's a pretty versatile word.
I like it. Okay, so we've had natural things now. How about organizational? I feel like everyone needs a bit more of that in their lives.
Absolutely. Organizational basically means relating to how things are arranged or structured.
Okay, like decluttering your closet, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but it can also be on a bigger scale. You might describe a company's organizational structure, who reports to who, that sort of thing.
Right, makes sense.
Or you might say something like, she was the organizational mastermind behind the successful conference. The one who kept everything running smoothly.
Oh, I know a few people like that. Super organized.
Yeah, we all need those people. And you can even use it to talk about things like the organizational changes at the school led to improvements in student learning.
Oh, wow. So it can really have a big impact.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of finding your way around, how about the word orientation?
Ooh, orientation. I always think of those like awkward first day of college orientations, trying to find your classes and stuff.
Yeah, those are definitely memorable. But in general, orientation means getting your bearings, becoming familiar with a new place or situation.
So it's like finding your place.
Exactly.
Right.
Like a company might provide a thorough orientation for new employees.
Right. So they know how everything works.
Exactly. Or the study abroad program includes a cultural orientation to help students adjust.
That makes sense. Getting used to a new culture can be tough.
Right. And you can even use it metaphorically. His political orientation shifted over time.
Interesting. Okay, so next up is originating. It's all about where something starts, right?
Precisely. It describes the source or the beginning of something. Like, you could say, the rumor originated on social media.
Social media rumors. The worst.
I know, right? Or you could say, the river originates in the mountains.
Ah, that's more peaceful. I like that one better.
Me too. And another example. This style of painting originated in Italy during the Renaissance.
So it can be for anything, like ideas or art style.
Absolutely. It's a great word for tracing something back to its roots, no matter what it is.
Okay, and sometimes things start suddenly and not in a good way, like with an outbreak.
Yeah, outbreak definitely has that negative connotation. It means a sudden occurrence of something unpleasant, often a disease.
Like an outbreak of measles.
Exactly. Or, unfortunately, you sometimes hear about an outbreak of violence in the news. It always implies a sense of urgency and danger.
Makes sense. Like health officials are working to contain the outbreak of the flu.
Yep, exactly like that.
Okay, enough of the serious stuff. Let's talk about outfit. Like what you wear every day.
Right. Outfit usually refers to clothes, jeans, and a t-shirt, a fancy dress, whatever you put together to wear.
So it can be anything.
Pretty much. But outfit can also refer to a group of people working together, especially in the military.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you might hear someone say, he served in a special operations outfit.
Wow, interesting. So it's a group with a specific purpose.
Exactly. And sometimes you put on your best outfit to go on an outing.
Oh, yeah, an outing. And it always sounds fun.
It is. It's a short, enjoyable trip, often for social reasons.
Like the family went on a weekend outing to the beach.
Exactly. Or the school organized an outing to the museum.
I love those.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up is outlet. I always think of shopping malls and outlet stores.
Haha, that's definitely one meaning. But outlet can also have a more abstract meaning. It can be any way to express or release something.
Oh, interesting. Like emotions.
Exactly. Like you might say, writing poetry was her emotional outlet.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or exercise can be a healthy outlet for stress.
So it's not just about shopping. It's about channeling your energy.
Exactly. Finding a way to let things out, whether it's emotions or creative energy.
Okay, love that. And speaking of expressing things, what about outlook? Like your outlook on life?
Yep, you got it. Outlook refers to your expectations or predictions about what's likely to happen.
So it's how you see things.
Right. Like you might say, the economic outlook is uncertain.
Oh, I hear that one a lot these days.
Yeah, it's a common one. Or, on a more personal level, despite her illness, she maintained a positive outlook on life.
That's inspiring.
It is. It's about having hope and seeing the possibilities, even when things are tough.
I like that. Okay, ready for the next one?
Hit me with it.
It's output. Makes me think of factories and, like, production lines.
That's a good association. Output is basically the amount of something produced or created.
So, like, how many cars a factory makes.
Exactly. You could say, the factory increased its output to meet demand. Or it can be about work in general, like the writer's creative output was impressive.
So it's all about productivity.
Yeah, it's about what you achieve, what you put out into the world.
And sometimes what's put out into the world can cause some strong reactions, like with the word outrage.
Ooh, yeah, outrage is a powerful word. It describes something that causes intense anger or shock, often because it's seen as morally wrong.
Like a really unfair situation.
Exactly, like public outrage over the scandal.
Or the judge's decision sparked outrage among the protesters.
Yep, you got it. It carries a sense of deep injustice and a demand for change.
Wow, strong word. Okay, switching gears a bit. What about the word outsider?
An outsider is someone who is not part of a particular group or community. They often feel excluded or different.
Like they don't belong.
Right. You could say he was an outsider in the world of finance, or she never felt like an outsider in her new school.
I think everyone feels like an outsider sometimes.
Probably true. It's a universal experience to some extent.
But sometimes being different can be a good thing. It can even be outstanding.
Absolutely. Outstanding means exceptionally good, truly impressive, like an outstanding performance.
Or an outstanding student.
Exactly. It's a word of praise and recognition.
We all strive for that. Okay, so life throws us curveballs sometimes, but we can overcome challenges.
Right. That's the goal, right? Overcome means to successfully deal with a problem or difficulty.
Like she overcame her fear of public speaking.
Exactly. Or he overcame his injury to win the race.
So it's about resilience.
Yeah, it's about not giving up, finding a way to succeed despite the obstacles.
But we all make mistakes, right? And sometimes we overlook important things.
It happens to the best of us. To overlook means to fail to notice or consider something.
Like I overlooked a crucial detail in the contract.
Yep, or maybe the teacher overlooked the student's potential.
So it can have big or small consequences.
Definitely. It just means you missed something important.
Okay, this next one can be tricky. It's overly. It's like saying something is a bit too much, right?
You got it. Overly means excessively or to a greater degree than necessary.
So you could describe someone as overly cautious.
Exactly. Or maybe overly optimistic.
So it's like out of balance.
Yeah, it suggests that something is a bit too extreme. Now, have you ever had to do something super fast, practically overnight?
Ooh, overnight. Like finishing a project last minute?
Uh-huh. That's one way to use it. But overnight can also mean happening very quickly or suddenly.
Oh, like a sudden change.
Exactly. Like the book became an overnight sensation.
So it just blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah, or maybe the political situation changed overnight. It implies a rapid transformation.
Well, things can change fast. Now, this is one I love. Have you traveled overseas?
I have a few times. It's always an adventure.
Me too. Overseas simply means abroad, to or in a foreign country.
Right, like they moved overseas for work.
Or we're planning an overseas trip next year.
Sounds fun. And if you're in a leadership role, you probably oversee a lot of different things.
Oversee. That's like being in charge, right?
Exactly. To oversee means to supervise or be in charge of something.
So, like, she oversees the company's marketing department.
Precisely. Or the committee oversees the selection process. It's all about responsibility and management.
But sometimes, even the best laid plans need to be changed or, overturned.
Ooh, good one. Overturn means to reverse a previous decision or ruling. It's often used in legal contexts.
Like the Supreme Court overturned the lower court's decision.
Exactly. But you can also use it in other situations, like the company overturned its policy on remote work.
So it signifies a big change.
Yeah, a significant shift in direction. Now, have you ever felt completely overwhelmed by something?
Oh, all the time. Especially when I have a ton of deadlines. What does it mean exactly?
Overwhelmed means to be overcome with emotion or to have too much to deal with.
Okay, so it can be emotional or just about having too much on your plate.
Exactly. Like you could say, he was overwhelmed with gratitude.
Ah, that's a good kind of overwhelmed.
It is. Or, on the flip side, she was overwhelmed by the amount of work.
Yeah, I relate to that one a lot.
Me too. And sometimes something can be so intense or powerful that we call it overwhelming. Like the evidence against him was overwhelming.
Oh, I see. So it's like impossible to ignore.
Exactly. It's a force that's hard to resist.
Okay, last few words here. What about ownership?
Ownership is the state of possessing something, whether it's a physical object or something more abstract.
Okay, so it can be about like owning a house.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Or it can be about owning an idea or taking responsibility for something.
Right.
Like you might say, he took ownership of the project.
So it's about more than just material possessions.
Right. It's about having control and responsibility. Speaking of essential things, how about oxygen?
Oh, yeah. Can't live without it. Oxygen is that essential gas we breathe, right?
Yep. It's vital for life and also used in lots of industrial processes.
So we could say, like, the climber carried an oxygen tank for the high altitude.
Exactly. Or plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. It's a word we see in science, but also just in everyday life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, almost done. What about packet? I always think of those little packets of, like, soy sauce you get with takeout.
Haha, those are definitely packets. A packet is a small container or package, often holding a specific amount of something.
So it could be like a packet of gum.
Yep, a packet of instant coffee.
Or even like a packet of information.
Exactly. It's just a handy word for those small, self-contained things.
Okay, what's next?
How about pad? Like a pad of paper for writing.
Oh, yeah. Everyone needs one of those. It's like a bunch of sheets of paper all together, right?
Precisely. It could be a legal pad or a notepad or even a drawing pad.
That's the best way to jot down ideas, right?
Absolutely. Can't beat pen and paper sometimes. All right, ready for the second to last word?
Hit me.
It's palm. Now, this can refer to a couple of things.
Like the palm of your hand.
Exactly. Or it can be a type of tree that grows in warm climates.
Oh, interesting. So you could say, she held the seashell in her palm.
Yep. Or palm trees swayed in the tropical breeze.
Two very different images, but both cool.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a word that can transport you to different places. All right, ready for the grand finale?
Bring it on.
Last word, panic.
Ooh, that's a big one. Panic. It's like that feeling when you suddenly get scared.
Right, exactly. It's a sudden feeling of intense fear that makes it hard to think clearly.
So like the crowd panicked when the fire alarm went off.
Yep. Or He felt a moment of panic when he realized he was lost.
It can be really overwhelming.
For sure. And that wraps up our 30 out words.
Well, we did it. That was a whirlwind of vocabulary.
It was, but hopefully it was fun and helpful.
Definitely. So listeners, now that you have all these amazing words in your arsenal, what are you going to do with them?
Don't just let them sit there. Use them. Write them down. Say them out loud. Try to work them into your everyday conversations.
Exactly. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe you'll even discover some new favorite words along the way.
I love finding new words. So until next time, everyone, happy wordsmithing.